That's okay. Whee, show me this taste. Doesn't work. So I started learning about some functions. And I ended up with all of these. I highly recommend that you look for that one. There is a web page available where you can type in a search and it'll say, you don't search for Chuck Norris. He searches for you. But there, all these functions. I like functions. Now we can see what is going on, look at the drive sizes. I gave this to my sysadmins. I'm not picking on you, it's just because I know you. And I would say, they would say, I would say, let's go back a bit. We're doing maintenance on our SQL servers. We're doing patching. And I come to the box, and it's like, please reboot. Okay. If you reboot the server now, some other person will lose the work because they're already connected. What are you doing on my box? So we had this conversation with the sysadmin guys about the fact that when they are on MySQL server with an RDP session, they are using precious CPU and RAM and resources that I want to use just for SQL and nothing else. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, but we need to check the disk space. Really? By going onto the box? That's what they did. So, okay. Here you are. Use PowerShell. This was the beginning of them, and some of them have told me this to my face now, of when they used just to hear Rob talking, and what they would hear is PowerShell. PowerShell. Awesome. Like that. And they're probably right. It might have felt a bit like that. But I said, here you go. Here is the script. I copy, paste it. There you go. He put it on his machine. Now he can do it. Except he'd forget that he'd got it. So he'd go, oh, Rob, can I have a script? Yeah, sure. Copy, paste. Put on there. He'd run it, then he'd forget. By this point, I'm learning about functions, profiles. So what we would do is, that'll work. Grab our local path where I'd got all of these functions stored, iterate through each of them, load them up. They're all in memory. That's great. Yeah, until you have so many that, stuff starts getting a bit slow when you're starting it up. But, it works. And, yeah. Remember I said we put those on a share. Because not that sysadmin that would just go on my box and he didn't care, but this one who would like to use a script, he said, oh, could I get to the share? Yeah, sure. Here it is. And I kid you not, this really is what happened. Not this gentleman, I must add, before he is but an example. Okay. So the show drive sizes function takes a computer name and shows you all the logical disks that are available and what space they have free. Excellent. So let's run it against some server. Okay, so we're running it against Rob's Surface Book. C drive's got 41.28% free. Excellent. Okay. So actually, I need to know about a different server. So let me just run that. Yeah, so a different server is now going to Rob's Surface Book, and the C drive that's pretty clever, actually. But you see the issue. What is going on here? This is what this mythical person that isn't him had done. I so wish that he was here to hear you laugh at him. Every time we had anything like this, he would take the function, he would put the parameters, whatever they were, in underneath nice and carefully, and then he would save it. And then everybody would go, well, especially people like this guy, who doesn't really want to use it anyway. He wants to carry on RDPing and clicking a button. He's not like that. He's brilliant. Okay, I'm just picking on him because I know him. Yeah. And he would then, when his boss said, you should use this because Rob's actually right, and it would be much quicker if, instead of RDPing onto a box and opening up Windows Explorer to see how much disk space was free, you used this function and did it in 3 seconds flat. Yeah, it doesn't work. Because the guy that wasn't him has changed it like that. So now, the people that hear PowerShell, awesome, are going, ha, 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 it doesn't work. Yeah, no, we'll carry on doing it the way we know. You know, click, 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 click. So, we have to do something better. I lead a team of junior DBAs, or at this point I led a team of junior DBAs. Anybody who was in my morning session would have seen how I wrote some T-SQL to make sure that the junior DBA knew exactly what he was doing. And this is kind of the same thing. Hey. A nice little, hello. Are you taking photos? Yeah. Cool. Okay. So okay, I'm going to keep waiting until you're going to take it.
So one of your colleagues here with your blah, blah, blah PowerShell?
What do they... None of them are here, no. What did they hear? They heard PowerShell. So you must be taking a photo of... Unfortunately, what you can't see is she's laughing too much. You ready?
Yes.
Right. You're going. It's done. It's done. So, let's try this. Now, we have no choice. I want to check disk space on a server. Okay. Do you want to clear the screen? No, thank you. Please enter the server. Now we get the right thing. Maybe we go, let's choose the error log. Do you want to clear the screen? It was a little bit annoying. It was demanding. Okay. Now you get the SQL error log. And yes, it was working as quick as that, across anywhere. So it made life much simpler for my junior DBAs. When I could say to them, right, when you have an issue, let's have a look at the SQL error log. This is how you can do it nice and quickly, as long as the machine's got enough processing to be able to send it through to you. I can't remember which 7 is. What's 7? Show processors on 7. We won't do that because there's nothing running at the moment. And then I got a bit funky. And what I did is I wrote this, which doesn't work on a 4K screen, unfortunately. So I can't give you a demo of what it does. It does the same thing, but that's the picture. And this one I gave to him. So every day, when the guy that wasn't him, he had to look at my face, going, smiling out at him. Because his boss made him. The smile was this big. So, this all works really, really well. Until the point when this guy, he's amazing. So now that he understands PowerShell, he doesn't make stupid changes. Right? He's gone and learned, and he's talked, and we've worked out, and he's made suggestions. I've gone, oh, crikey, I hadn't thought of that. That's a good idea, yeah. That's cool. We should put that in. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, let's work together on this. Yeah, that's good. So, yeah, that's where we are. What we did was we set up a TFS project for our PowerShell scripts. Yep. For most of you guys, you guys use TFS, source control, etc. Yeah, lots and lots of nodding heads. Yeah. It was like saying you needed to learn Greek. Okay? This was a complete and utter, so far out, why on earth would you do that? That's the sort of stuff the developers do. You know, why on earth would we do this? But that was the situation that we were in at that time. And you have an idea of the sort of people that I was working in around at that time. So we started using TFS. It's brilliant. Used it for source control. And the way that we did this, there. To make sure that our profile loads every time with the functions that are in our TFS, we need to add the assemblies. You can end up having some fun and games when you're trying to do this. You have to make sure, if you have multiple Visual Studios installed on your machine, that you're picking the right, probably the latest version of the DIL file. You need to, but like PowerShell is absolutely not case sensitive except when it is. It's one of those scenarios. But if your Team Foundation server is 2013 and you have what's the latest preview on Visual Studio 15 on your machine, that deal doesn't work with 2013. Broke all my demos. But we had these, not like that, we didn't. We had these DIL files. Load the assemblies, that's the word you want, Rob. Pick, there's probably no point in running any of this. I've got no internet connection. Set a TFS server path, and I distinguish between whether we were running in ISE or whether we were running in just CMD mode. And we pick ourselves a workspace name, which takes the name of the person, the username they're logged in with, and their computer name, and adds on CMD or ISE on the end of it. And the reason for doing that is if you have shared environments, it's making sure that that profile is not getting confused with anybody else. You might choose to have different things in your command profile than you would have in your ISE profile. So enabling all that sort of clever stuff. Some of that is not in here because it just gets too confusing to explain. And the best thing about IT in general, but definitely PowerShell, is you can mold it to do the thing that you want it to do best. So don't do what I do. Okay? Unless you're particularly working in that place with those people, which you're not. Yeah? Do what it is that works for yourself. We create a local path, and then we connect to our TFS server. And this works both for myself at home with TFS Online, visualstudio.com, and with my local on-prem TFS server. So you need to make sure you're getting the right one. TFS Online, as those of you who know, is free for up to 5 people contributing to the same project. Yeah, so if you're in a little team, there's no reason why you can't set that thing up yourself. But, here's the thing. Because this guy works for an organization, I have no idea if this is true, this is completely made up, that looks after health data. Yeah, we work in this data, it's really secure and special data. And some of these functions or some of these things that we're doing are going to have code and IP addresses or server names or domain names or stuff that our IT security guy says must not leave the premises. Quite often like that, because he's about this big. Scary as anything. Yeah? It is your responsibility to ensure that anything that you put out on the cloud is allowed to go out on the cloud. If your IT security guy comes back to you and takes you into the office and taps you on the shoulder and walks you out with your box because you've done this, don't come and tell me. I will be empathetic. I would say, oh dear, that's a shame. And then I'll say, you should have bloody checked first. Because you should have checked first. It's exactly the same thing as the thing about, this is my code that works for me in my environment and doesn't break anything. If you go and run it on your live estate and it breaks something, sorry, your fault. Yeah? If you go and run it and everything falls over and your boss comes shouting at you, that's your fault. If you're not testing any code that you write, anything that you do before you put it into the live environment, then start doing it now. Okay. So having got our TFS URI, we then create ourselves a directory and we connect to the TFS collection, like so. And then we connect to the version control server. Da-da-da. And then we check whether we've got a workspace name. Right. Here's the thing. I have not gone back and checked this for quite a while because this works. I know it is rubbish. It is a crazy way of doing it, but it works. Here's the problem. Your VC object the workspace object has a method called getLatest. What you think it would do would be get the latest. Yep. I compare it to invoke SQL command. So invoke SQL command will time out after 30 seconds. So you can specify the timeout flag. And if you specify the timeout flag to infinity, it will time out after 30 seconds. If you set the timeout setting to 55 seconds, it will time out after 30 seconds. Get latest just goes, yeah, I've got the latest. And you're going to have a look and you go, well, you blatantly haven't. Yeah, all succeeded. Great. So, if somebody ever wants to look at that and go, Rob, you're being an idiot, which is completely possible, you should do it like this. Yeah, great, cool, tell me, that'll be grand, I'd like it. For the moment, what I do, because it works even though it's rubbish, is delete the workspace. Because we're really only talking functions, so we're only talking a few hundred meg. So we're not really talking masses. Yeah, I know the grumpy face here is going, but that means PowerShell is going to take me ages to load. True. But come into work, sign into computer, start PowerShell, coffee. Yeah?
I don't care.
Yeah, true. Come back, it's done. PowerShell never reopens, it's always there. In fact, normally, to be honest, what I then do is Control-T, and have 3 or 4 sessions open so I can do stuff. But it's not a brilliant solution, but it works. It source controls all our functions. So now we have a situation where we have a profile script that works for me, and I can copy that profile script and give it to him, and then I can copy the profile script and give it to him, and he'll swear at me, but his boss has told him he's got to use it. And that's okay, but now we're in the same situation again, because now if I change my profile, now I've got to send it to him, and I've got to send it to him. It turns out this guy, Active Directory guy, he's new to the company, he loves PowerShell. He goes, oh yeah, that's cool, that's a really great idea. What we can do is this. I have no idea why that had that silly accent. And what he did was he wrote a script to create a GPO so that now we will pull the latest profile script out of TFS and the GPO will apply it, so when anybody in the DBA team logs on to that machine with that specific account, their profile is preloaded with this stuff. This guy's even more grumpy now, because not only is the grumpy DBA saying that we should use PowerShell, but now the AD guy's saying we should use PowerShell as well. Whenever he logs onto this machine, his profile is now going to the TFS for his team, and now all the commands that he needs are now available to him. Suddenly we're in a situation where it doesn't matter who is logging onto the machine to use PowerShell, they're actually now getting available all of the things that they need to be able to do the job. Making your life really difficult, aren't I, Amanda? Sorry. And, of course, I'm a DBA, so I'm going to load the SQL SMOs to make sure that everything works how I want it to. Simply like that. And remove some variables. And where have we gone?
Why would you remove the beard?
Because we want to reuse it in other scripts and not get confused. Oh, what are you doing? Other things I do. Thank you. Do as you're told. Other things I do in my profile is we need to talk about using Git. But you can add on to your add-ons menu within PowerShell a thing, whatever that thing may be. And then you may create, there we go, create a shortcut key. Shortcut keys, even better. So now, that happens to just be my simple little one. It's not the real one because I'm not allowed to bring it out from where I work. But what I'm trying to say is, as well as enabling your particular team to be able to use TFS as a source control for your functions, use that profile file to enable them to have shortcut keys to be able to go to the home page, the SharePoint page with their stuff on it, the whatever it is, to their Git, to create a new Git file, to create new pester files. All of those cool and groovy things that you want to be able to do, expand your mind, start loading these functions, start creating yourself shortcuts, save yourself some time, enable yourself to do the same thing over and over again. TFS is very handily got some PowerShell scripts, like most Microsoft products. This is all being recorded, but hey, what we do, let's run that one. Let's run it so people can see actually what it does. So, show databases on server, surprisingly, tells you the databases on server are this. So if we wanted to change that, we can use the command add TFS pending change. We're going to edit it, and this is the item that we're going to edit. So we can now go in here. You see my demo, which worked. 1357. Let's now we can save it. What we could do is use this command, new TFS change set, and commit our change back into source control. My friend, that wasn't deliberate. My friend here could still, if he wants to, which person still does want to, this finger, the muscles must be immense. Out of proportion with everything else. But what he will do, if he wishes, with that's not going to work. See, I'm not as practiced at using a mouse as is he can open up File Explorer. here.